Elena Rossi had never stepped foot inside the Velvet Lantern, but desperation made people bold. She needed to find her roommate who hadn't returned home, and the nightclub was her last lead. The place pulsed with low music, smelling of expensive perfume and secrets. She slipped deeper inside, weaving through people dressed in money and danger. That was when she saw it, a private exchange happening near the restricted lounge. A man handed over a briefcase. Another counted thick stacks of cash. And standing between them like a dark king was him. Tall, broad-shouldered, tailored suit, ice cold as winter steel. Dante Moretti. Elena froze. She'd heard the whispers, Mafia boss, ruthless, untouchable. The kind of man who didn't forgive being watched. As if sensing her stare, Dante's head turned. Their eyes locked. For a heartbeat, Elena forgot how to breathe. His gaze traveled over her face, down her trembling hands, then back up, slow, assessing, claiming. He handed the briefcase to his second-in-command without looking away from her. Then he started walking toward her. Elena's pulse roared in her ears. She turned, trying to disappear into the crowd, but his voice, low, dark, unhurried, cut through the music. Stop. She shouldn't have. But she did. He closed the distance between them, stopping only inches away. His presence swallowed the air around her, radiating power and danger. You shouldn't be here, he said, studying her as if trying to decide what she was worth, to him or to ruin. I didn't see anything, she whispered. A small, humorless smile touched his lips. You saw me? That's enough. Her stomach dropped. I just came for my friend. His expression sharpened. What's her name? Lena. Lena Howard. Something flickered in his eyes, recognition or warning she couldn't tell. Before she could speak again, he leaned in, his breath warm against her ear. Let me in, he murmured dangerously, and you'll be begging for more soon. Elena stepped back, shaken to her core. Every instinct screamed to run, but his gaze followed her like a promise. She pushed through the exit and into the night, unaware that Dante Moretti had already made his decision. He wasn't letting her go. Elena barely slept that night. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Dante Moretti, his stare, his voice, that chilling promise whispered against her skin. By morning, she convinced herself it was nothing more than intimidation. Men like him used fear the way others use small talk. Still, she couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted. Walking to work, she kept glancing over her shoulder. The streets felt too quiet. The shadows too still. She tried to calm her racing pulse, telling herself she was being dramatic. Until she saw it. A black car. Parked across from her apartment. Same spot. Same angle. Same tinted windows. It hadn't been there yesterday. Her steps faltered. No, she refused to believe it. Coincidence. Bad luck. Anything but him. But when she reached her workplace, a small cafe on Fifth Avenue, the same car slid into a spot across the street, engine running. Watching. Her chest tightened. Inside, she struggled to focus. She dropped a tray, mixed up orders, spilled coffee. Her coworker asked if she was okay, but Elena just forced a smile. How was she supposed to explain that the Mafia boss she accidentally locked eyes with last night might be tracking her? Hours later, as the cafe emptied, the bell over the door chimed. Elena froze. A tall man in a black suit entered, scanning the room with sharp, emotionless eyes. Not Dante. But someone dangerous nonetheless. He approached the counter slowly. Elena Rossi? He asked. Her blood ran cold. Who's asking? He didn't answer. Instead, he slipped a folded note onto the counter and walked out, disappearing into the black car outside. Hands shaking, Elena opened the note. Don't run. You're safe as long as I'm watching you. D. Moretti. Elena's breath hitched. Safe? From what? She rushed outside, but the car was already gone, swallowed by traffic like a ghost. Fear prickled up her spine, but beneath it, something else. Something she didn't want to name. Dante Moretti wasn't just watching. He'd marked her. And Elena felt the first whisper of a truth she wasn't ready to accept. Once a man like him sets his sights on you, there's no escaping his world. The sun had barely set when Elena realized the streets felt wrong. Too quiet. Too empty. Her walk home felt like stepping into a tunnel where sound couldn't escape. She tried to stay calm, clutching her bag tightly, repeating to herself that this was just anxiety. Then she heard footsteps. Not one set, 3. She picked up her pace. The footsteps matched. Faster. Closer. Elena's heart hammered as she turned the corner, only to find the street blocked by 2 men. Rough faces. Cold eyes. Hands already reaching for her. "Where do you think you're going, sweetheart?" one of them sneered. She stepped back, only to collide with another body behind her. A hand clamped over her mouth. "Got her." Elena kicked, twisted, screamed into the palm, silencing her. Panic exploded inside her chest. "Let me go," she managed to choke out as the hand shifted. "Can't do that," the man behind her said. "Boss wants her. Says she saw too much." Dante. They meant Dante. He had put her in danger. "Please," she began, but the words died as headlights swept across the alley. A black SUV screeched to a stop. The doors flew open, and Dante Moretti stepped out. His expression was deathly calm, too calm as he took in the scene. "Let her go." The men stiffened. "We don't take orders from you." Dante smiled. "It wasn't kind. You do today." The next moments blurred. Dante moved with lethal precision. Fast, silent, terrifying. A punch to the throat. A kick to the ribs. One man dropped. Another tried to run. Dante dragged him back by the collar and slammed him into the wall. Elena stood frozen as the last attacker lunged toward her. Before she could react, Dante yanked her behind him and disarmed the man with a twist that made bone crack. Silence fell. The men lay groaning on the ground, defeated. Dante turned to her, chest rising and falling sharply, eyes burning with something primal. "Are you hurt?" Elena shook her head, too stunned to speak. His jaw tensed. "You're coming with me." "I'm not." "Someone sent them for you," he said sharply. "And I intend to find out who. But you're not walking home alone again." His gaze softened, not gently but possessively. "You're under my protection now." Elena's pulse stuttered. Protection? Or captivity? Elena didn't remember getting into Dante's SUV. One moment she was shaking in the alley. The next, city lights blurred past the windows as he drove in tense silence. His presence filled the car, commanding, controlled, impossible to ignore. She kept her eyes on the passing streets. "You said someone sent them." "Who?" Dante's grip tightened on the steering wheel. "A rival who thinks you know something you shouldn't." "But I don't," she protested. "I only walked into the wrong place at the wrong time." "That's enough." His tone left no room for argument. The rest of the ride passed in uneasy quiet. When the SUV finally slowed, Elena looked out the window, and her breath caught. A towering glass building rose above them, its top vanishing into the night sky. Private security surrounded the entrance. The kind of place only men like Dante Moretti lived. "This is your home?" she whispered. "For now," he corrected. "Yours too." Before she could argue, he was already at her door, offering his hand. She hesitated, then took it, his touch grounding and frightening all at once. Inside, the penthouse felt like stepping into another world. Marble floors, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, dim golden lighting that seemed to follow Dante's movements. Elena wrapped her arms around herself. "I don't belong here." Dante studied her for a long moment. "You belong where you're safest." "I don't feel safe," she shot back. "You will." His voice softened, dangerously so. "Because no one gets to touch what's mine." Her breath hitched. "I'm not." "Not yet." His eyes darkened. "But someone marked you as leverage against me. That makes you my responsibility." He walked past her and poured 2 glasses of water, his movements overly calm. "Until I find who ordered the attack, you stay here. Non-negotiable." Elena wanted to scream at him. To tell him he didn't own her. But the memory of those men's hands on her arms still made her tremble. She sank onto the couch. "What happens now?" Dante sat across from her, elbows resting on his knees, gaze fixed on her as if she were the only thing in the room. "Now," he said lowly, "I learn who's trying to hurt you." His stare deepened. "And you learn why it's dangerous to catch a mafia boss's attention." Elena woke up wishing the night before had been a nightmare. But the room around her, far too spacious, far too luxurious, was painfully real. Floor-to-ceiling windows, silk sheets, and a city skyline that didn't belong to someone like her. And somewhere beyond that door, Dante Moretti. She gathered her courage and stepped into the living area. Dante stood near the windows, jacket off, sleeves rolled up, dark hair slightly tousled, an image far too effortlessly intimidating. His focus was fixed on a file in his hands. Without looking up, he said, "You're awake." She bristled. "You make it sound like I sleep on command." His eyes lifted, sharp, assessing. "You were exhausted. Shocked as that." Elena crossed her arms. "You act like you know everything about me." A muscle ticked in his jaw. "I know enough to keep you alive." He set the file down and approached her slowly, careful but intense. She resisted the urge to step back. "That alley," she said quietly, "those men, they weren't after me because of something I did." "No," Dante admitted. "So why involve me? Why drag me here?" His gaze flickered, something unguarded breaking through the usual iron control. "Because the moment I saw you in that club," he said, voice low, "I knew someone else would too. And not for the same reasons." Her heartbeat stumbled. "What reasons?" Dante exhaled, almost frustrated. "With her, with himself, with the truth he didn't want to say." "You walked into my world," he murmured. "And instead of looking away, you held my stare." Elena swallowed. "That was a mistake." "Maybe," he said. "But it was the first thing that's felt real in months." She blinked, thrown off balance. Dante Moretti, untouchable, feared, unreadable, suddenly seemed human. Not softer, but exposed in a way she didn't expect. He stepped closer, voice dropping. "You weren't supposed to matter." Elena felt heat rise in her chest. Fear, confusion, something dangerously close to curiosity. "So what am I now?" she asked. Dante's eyes darkened, honest and unsettling at once. "Someone I refuse to lose." The room thickened with unspoken tension. Elena tore her gaze away before she drowned in it. For the first time, she wondered if the real danger wasn't the men chasing her, but the man protecting her. The next morning, Elena awoke to the hum of the city below, the sunlight cutting through the penthouse windows like a reminder of the outside world she could no longer fully access. Dante was already awake, standing by the window, arms crossed, a calculating expression on his face. "You have to learn how to stay safe," he said without turning. "You can't keep running into danger and expect me to always save you." "I'm not some pawn in your games," Elena snapped, grabbing her bag. "I can handle myself." He finally faced her, gaze sharp. "Can you? You almost didn't." She hesitated, the memory of the alley still raw. "I'll be careful." Dante stepped closer. "Careful isn't enough. You need to understand my world, the rules, the dangers, and the people who would use you to get to me." Elena's stomach twisted. "And if I refuse?" He tilted his head, studying her like she was a puzzle he was determined to solve. "Then you won't leave here alive." The weight of his words pressed down on her chest. It wasn't a threat. Not exactly. It was truth, harsh, unflinching, unavoidable. "I don't like it," she whispered. "I don't care," he said flatly. "But you're under my protection. That means you follow my lead. You trust me." Trust. The word echoed, impossible to accept. But she saw the fire in his eyes, the steel beneath the darkness, and knew resistance was futile. That night, he began her training, teaching her how to spot danger, how to blend in, how to read intentions before actions. Every lesson was relentless, every step uncomfortable, yet Elena discovered something she hadn't expected. She was capable of more than she knew. But with each passing hour, Dante's presence pressed closer. Standing behind her while she practiced escape maneuvers, guiding her through the streets, his gaze lingered a moment too long. Possessive, intense, and unyielding. And Elena realized the cruel truth. The man keeping her alive wasn't just her protector. He was the danger she couldn't resist. By the time the session ended, sweat clinging to her skin, muscles trembling, Elena knew she was caught in something far beyond fear. An obsession, unspoken and consuming, that neither of them could deny. Dante's voice broke the silence. "You're learning fast. Too fast, maybe." Elena met his eyes, heart pounding. "Maybe I'm learning from the wrong teacher." He smirked, dangerous and satisfied. "Or maybe the only one who matters." The night had a restless edge, the city outside humming like an electric pulse. Elena followed Dante through the labyrinth of his penthouse, her mind a storm of confusion. Every glance, every brush of his hand, made her pulse quicken, something she couldn't name, something she shouldn't feel. They stopped in the private lounge, dimly lit, the flicker of candles casting shadows over Dante's sharp features. He leaned against the marble counter, arms crossed, watching her with that unreadable gaze that made her want to retreat and step closer at the same time. "I can't keep doing this," she whispered. "I can't." He cut her off, stepping toward her with a speed that belied his calm demeanor. "Doing what?" His voice was low, almost velvet, yet dangerous. "Avoiding me? Pretending this," he gestured between them, "isn't happening?" Elena's throat went dry. She wanted to deny it, to step back, but her body betrayed her. Every instinct was on fire, every rational thought drowned out by the pull between them. Dante closed the distance, and suddenly there was nowhere to run. His hand brushed a stray lock of hair from her face, his fingers lingering against her cheek. His eyes searched hers, dark and unrelenting. "You think you can resist me?" he murmured. She faltered, heart-hammering, words failing. In that instant the world narrowed to him. Dante's lips captured hers in a kiss that was both claim and question, fierce yet impossibly tender. Time slowed. Every thought, every fear melted into the moment, leaving only heat, tension, and the undeniable truth that everything had changed. When he pulled back just enough to let her breathe, his forehead rested against hers. His gaze softened, but not entirely, still sharp and dangerous. "Do you understand now?" he whispered. "The danger isn't only out there. It's here." He tapped his chest. "With me." Elena trembled, unsure whether from fear, desire, or the impossibility of separating the two. I don't know how to." "You'll learn," he said, voice low, promising yet commanding. "Because there's no turning back after this." She realized he was right. The moment had shattered the delicate balance between them. Elena wasn't just caught in Dante's world, she was entwined with him, and every heartbeat made that undeniable. And in the quiet aftermath, the city outside blurred into insignificance, leaving only the dangerous pull of a man she couldn't resist. Elena hadn't expected to become part of Dante's inner world so quickly, but the city nights, the whispered warnings, and the dangerous lessons had changed everything. Still, nothing prepared her for the discovery that would shake them both. She was in Dante's private study, reviewing security footage from the night of her attack. His laptop sat open, lines of coded messages scrolling across the screen. Dante moved behind her, silent as a shadow. "You've been digging," he said, a hint of amusement in his deep voice. "I need to know who sent them," Elena replied firmly. "I can't just sit here and wait." Dante didn't respond, but his gaze followed her, sharp and calculating. Hours passed. Elena's patience and intuition guided her through the maze of surveillance footage, secret communications, and encrypted files. And then, a face. A familiar one. Someone Dante had trusted for years. Someone who had worked beside him, sharing secrets and plans. Her stomach dropped. "Dante," she whispered, pointing to the screen. He leaned over, eyes narrowing. Recognition flared instantly. "It can't be," he muttered, disbelief and fury mixing in his tone. "Yes," Elena said, voice steady despite the adrenaline racing through her veins. "They orchestrated the attack. They used me as leverage." Dante's jaw tightened and his hands curled into fists. "I should have seen it," he said, voice low, dangerous. "I trusted them. I let my guard down." Elena felt a pang of fear, realizing the implications. "They could have killed me," she said, trying not to show her own terror. Dante's expression softened, briefly, but his next words made her heart skip. "And now they're going to pay." He reached for her hand, gripping it tightly. "You didn't deserve this. No one touches what's mine." The revelation left Elena shaken, but a strange sense of strength rose in her. She had discovered the truth, saved him from being blindsided, and had become indispensable in his world, a dangerous, thrilling place she never imagined belonging to. Dante's eyes bore into hers, the intensity of his obsession unmistakable. "Stay close," he whispered. "Because the moment they think they can reach you, I will reach them first." And Elena understood. The real battle wasn't just about survival, it was about trust, power, and the unyielding connection between them. For the first time she realized that she wasn't just his witness or target. She was his partner. And in Dante Moretti's world, that was both a privilege and a death sentence. The city was alive with tension, a storm pressing against the skyline. Elena had sensed it all day, the subtle shift in air, the messages that weren't sent, the absence of Dante's calm presence. She was right to worry. Her phone buzzed. A single message, no sender. "She's alone. Tonight." Elena's blood ran cold. They were coming for her, the traitor had her as leverage. She knew she had no time to think, only act. Before she could move, a shadow fell across the door. Dante stepped in, eyes blazing, coat flaring around him like a storm. Without a word, he swept her into the car, doors slamming, tires screaming against asphalt. The city blurred as he navigated backstreets and alleys, each turn precise, calculated. Dante's focus was absolute. "Tell me everything," he demanded. "They have me. They know I saw everything," Elena stammered. His jaw tightened. "Then they'll pay. Every last one." They reached the abandoned warehouse where the traitor waited. The air reeked of gasoline and anticipation. Dante's men moved with him, shadows blending into shadows. The doors burst open and the traitor emerged, smug, thinking they had the upper hand. Elena tried to step back, but Dante's hand on her waist anchored her. His other hand rested casually on the gun at his hip, effortless power contained. "You shouldn't have done this," Dante growled, voice low and deadly. The traitor laughed. "And what? Kill me? You'll never." Dante's eyes flashed. A single, fluid movement and the gun was drawn. His men neutralized the guards with precision. Chaos erupted, but Dante moved through it like a shadow of death, each strike calculated, each motion deliberate. When the dust settled, the traitor knelt, defeated, fear finally overtaking arrogance. Dante stood over him, chest heaving, but eyes immediately seeking Elena. "You're safe," he said, softer this time, the steel of anger replaced by the protective intensity that had defined him since the night they met. Elena stepped forward, courage and relief mingling in her chest. I'm not leaving you." Dante's hand cupped her face, thumb brushing her cheek. "Then don't. Because nothing, no one, will take you from me."